Hello students, in today's session let us discuss about global warming. What is global warming? Global warming is the increase of Earth's average surface temperature due to effect of greenhouse gases such as carbon dioxide emissions from burning fossil fuels or from deforestation, which trap heat that would otherwise escape from Earth. This is a type of greenhouse effect. Is global warming caused by human activity even remotely plausible? Earth's climate is mostly influenced by the first 6 miles or so of the atmosphere, which contains most of the matter making up the atmosphere. This is really a very thin layer if you think about it. In the book The End of Nature by author Bill McKibben tells of walking 3 miles from his cabin in the Adirondacks to buy food. Afterwards, he realized that on this short journey, he had travelled a distance equal to that of the layer of atmosphere where almost all the action of our climate is contained. In fact, if you were to view Earth from space, the principal part of the atmosphere would only be about as thick as the skin on an onion. Realizing this makes it more plausible to suppose that human beings can change the climate. A look at the amount of greenhouse gases we are spewing into the atmosphere makes it even more plausible. What are greenhouse gases? The most significant greenhouse gas is actually water vapor, not something produced directly by humankind in significant amounts. However, even slight increases in atmospheric levels of carbon dioxide can cause a substantial increase in temperature. Why is this? There are two reasons. First, although the concentrations of these gases are not nearly as large as that of oxygen and nitrogen, the main constituents of the atmosphere, neither oxygen or nitrogen are greenhouse gases. This is because neither has more than 2 atoms per molecule, that is, their molecular forms are O2 and N2 respectively, and so they lack the internal vibrational modes that molecules with more than 2 atoms have. Both water and carbon dioxide, for example, have these internal vibrational modes, and these vibrational modes can absorb and re-radiate infrared radiations, which causes the greenhouse effect. Secondly, carbon dioxide tends to remain in the atmosphere for a very long time scales in the hundreds of years. Water vapor, on the other hand, can easily condense or evaporate, depending on local conditions. Water vapor levels therefore tend to adjust quickly to the prevailing conditions, such that the energy flows from the sun and re-radiation from the earth achieve a balance. Carbon dioxide tends to remain fairly constant and therefore behaves as a controlling factor rather than a reacting factor. More carbon dioxide means that the balance occurs at higher temperatures and water vapor levels. How much have we increased the atmospheric carbon dioxide concentration? Human beings have increased the carbon dioxide concentration in the atmosphere by about 30%, which is an extremely significant increase even on interglacial timescales. It is believed that human beings are responsible for this because the increase is almost perfectly correlated with the increases in fossil fuel combustion and also due to other evidence such as changes in the ratios of different carbon isotopes in atmospheric carbon dioxide that are consistent with anthropogenic emissions, that is human caused emissions. The simple fact is that under business as usual conditions, we will soon reach carbon dioxide concentrations that have not been seen on earth in the last 50 million years. Combustion of fossil fuel for electricity generation, transportation and heating, and also the manufacture of cement all result in the total worldwide emission of about 22 billion tons of carbon dioxide to the atmosphere each year. About a third of this comes from electricity generation and another third from transportation and a third from all other sources. This enormous input of carbon dioxide is causing the atmospheric levels of carbon dioxide to rise dramatically. About 75% of the solar energy reaching the earth is absorbed on the earth's surface, which increases its temperature. The rest of the heat radiates back to the atmosphere. Some of the heat is trapped by greenhouse gases, mostly carbon dioxide. As carbon dioxide is released by various human activities, it is rapidly increasing. This is causing global warming. The average surface temperature is about 15 degrees Celsius. This is about 33 degrees Celsius higher than it would be in the absence of the greenhouse effect. Without such gases, most of the earth's surface would be frozen with a mean air temperature of minus 18 degrees Celsius. Human activities during the last few decades of industrialization and population growth have polluted the atmosphere to the extent that it has begun to seriously affect the climate. Carbon dioxide in the atmosphere has increased by 31% since pre-industrial times, causing more heat to be trapped in the lower atmosphere. There is evidence to show that carbon dioxide levels are still increasing. Many countries have signed a convention to reduce greenhouse gases under the United Nations Convention on Climate Change. Current international agreements are, however, not still effective to prevent the significant changes in climate and a rise in sea levels. Global warming is accelerating faster than what climatologists had calculated a few years ago. In 1995, the Intergovernmental Panel on Climate Change predicts that global warming would rise temperatures by 3.5 to 10 degrees centigrades during the 21st century. If the present trend continues, it is now believed that this could be much greater. This would lead to not only temperature changes, but in the amount of rainfall. India may see great annual fluctuations in rainfall leading to floods and droughts. Now, let us look at the impacts of global warming. Many of the following harbingers and fingerprints are now well underway. First point, rising seas, inundation of freshwater marshlands, low-lying cities and islands with seawater. The second one, changes in rainfall patterns, droughts and fires in some areas, flooding in other areas. Third point, increased likelihood of extreme events such as flooding, hurricanes, etc. The fourth one is melting of the ice caps, loss of habitat near the poles. Polar bears are now thought to be greatly endangered by the shortening of their feeding seasons due to dwindling ice packs. The fifth one is melting glaciers. significant melting of old glaciers is already observed. The sixth one is widespread vanishing of animal populations following widespread habitat loss. The seventh one is spread of disease, migration of diseases such as malaria to new now warmer regions. Eighth one, bleaching of coral reefs due to warming seas and acidification due to carbonic acid formation. One third of coral reefs now appear to have been severely damaged by warming seas. Ninth, loss of plankton due to warming seas. The enormous Aleutian Island ecosystems of orcas, sea lions, sea otters, sea urchins, kelp belts and fish populations appears to have collapsed due to loss of plankton, leading to loss of sea lions, leading orcas to eat too many sea otters, leading to urchin explosions, leading to loss of kelp beds and their associated fish populations. Where do we need to reduce emissions? In reality, we will need to work on all fronts, 10% here, 5% here, etc., and work to phase in new technologies such as hydrogen technology as quickly as possible. One should keep in mind though that even Kyoto would only go a little ways towards solving the problem. In reality, much more needs to be done. The most promising sector for near term reductions is widely thought to be coal fired electricity. Wind powers, for example, can make substantial cuts in these emissions in the near term, as can energy efficiency and also the increased use of high efficiency natural gas generation. The potential impact of efficiency should not be underestimated. A 1991 report to Congress by the US National Academy of Sciences, Policy Implications of Greenhouse Warming, found that the US could reduce current emissions by 50% at zero cost to the economy as a result of full use of cost effective efficiency improvements. Hope you have got a good insight on global warming. Until we meet again, bye.